Leaks in a Columbia area neighborhood pushing neighbors to their breaking point. 3 leaks have people living near Forest Acres concerned about wasted water.
And during repairs, homeowners were left with potholes, damaged irrigation lines, and a broken invisible dog fence. Our Nick Neville is in the neighborhood. Nick, what is the situation out there right now?
On White Oak Road, everything looks fine right now, but that new pavement that neighbors say they've been waiting years for looked very different last week. I was out here several times, and we want to show you what it looked like just as recently as last Friday. Not only was the water flowing, neighbors say water was being wasted, and there was also a concern about possible damage to the new road. A homeowner filed a complaint with the water company, and she also typed up a letter and asked her neighbors to complain too, because she says that Columbia Water's track record in her neighborhood has left her disappointed.
We should protect our resources, and it is definitely one of our resources.
Water, essential for survival. Wasting it, Chris Kiger says, is not acceptable.
I do think it's going to be the new gold in the future.
Kiger lives in a quiet neighborhood in Columbia off Rockbridge Road. Columbia Water told her there was an active small leak to the service line beside her home, causing this steady flow.
I called back last week, and they told me it was going to be fixed by March 31st. We'll see.
But the priority, Clint Sheely, who leads Columbia Water, says, goes to water main breaks or customers who don't have water service.
We do recognize that every drop is precious, and we want to preserve every bit that we can. Anything that's creating a public safety issue in a roadway receives a priority and almost an immediate response there. And the others are worked as they enter the system.
I think that's fine, but over a year to fix a water line, I don't think we've had that many big breaks that has required their attention.
Just down the road, neighbors say the water there had been streaming for more than a year, and they'd alerted Columbia Water, a leak that was repaired last month.
Highly unusual for me to hear things like a year to respond, so certainly would want to dig into that a little bit more, because records aren't really showing that.
Anxious about the possible response time to her leak, Kiger jumped into action, typed up this letter to her neighbors and asked them to complain.
I truly believe the squeaky wheel gets greased, and the more complaints, the more likely we'll have action. Also, I don't want my property ruined and eroded because of just uncontrolled water.
Kiger's frustrations are flowing because even though Columbia Water crews stopped this other leak, the homeowners there say they left behind some damage to their irrigation line and electric dog fence. What's left, Kiger believes, dangerous to the neighborhood's many dog walkers.
It's not fixed. They left a huge hole. They've torn up the roads. They damaged some property, some lines on a person's property. And if that's what they do for a job, then we're in big trouble.
5 days later, and it's fixed. But what isn't fixed is another leak elsewhere in this neighborhood and some of the damage that we showed you in that piece. Columbia Water says that Kiger should not be seeing a higher water bill associated with this particular leak because it's on the city side of the service line. Reporting in Columbia, Nick Neville, WIS News 10.
Nick, thank you. Columbia Water says they appreciate customers' patience as they work to repair every leak and break. Customers are encouraged to share their concerns with the water utility company by calling the customer service line at 803-545-3300 or by submitting a complaint through the My Cola SC app.